Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging with me for another day. I really appreciate you going out of your way to like, comment, and subscribe. That helps me and the channel out a lot. So let's talk about chatterbaits and call a spade because a chatterbait is one of those baits. If you like to fish shallow, pretty much works year round. I always have one tied on. There's some type of situation that seems like it's going on some point of the year. Now, we've got another month of really good chatterbait fishing, but I think once you get into June through the summer, if you don't have some type of submergent grass on your lake, the chatterbait is not my first choice. I want to be catching fish on topwater. I feel like you have a better opportunity at big bites when you do that. But again, we have another month of chatterbait fishing, but I want to kind of give you a little tip on chatterbaits that I think a lot of guys just don't do. They miss this. So when you see someone win a tournament on a chatterbait, it's typically a Zaco trailer, a bigger swim bait like a skinny dipper, something like that. And those are great trailers. I love throwing those early in the year, but it seems like these fish have seen so many chatterbaits the last 3 or 4 months that you do have to downsize. And I don't like to go to the little micro chatterbait or anything like that. I just put on smaller trailers, and that seems to get the job done. So I'm gonna give you 2 trailers that work really well in a bunch of different situations. Pretty much every situation you can have with the chatterbait, these smaller trailers, or maybe you just fish a lake that doesn't necessarily have big shad in it. The smaller trailers seem like they're the deal on those lakes as well. I've been to plenty of lakes where you just don't have big forage. Most everything in the lake is downsized, and for that reason, you can still catch fish on chatterbait. You just have to use a smaller trailer. So the first one, a split tail trailer. Now this is something I've talked about in other videos, but I harp on this a lot because this is a finessey version of a chatterbait, but you can do a lot with the split tail. Now this is a Zoom split tail. I know Yum makes one as well. I just thread it on the hook like any other trailer. It sits on there really good. Now this isn't great for skipping because there's just not a whole lot of surface there, but this is great for when you don't have a whole lot of cover in the water and you want your bait to kick and move and search. This trailer allows this bait to do that. So very good in banks without a whole lot of cover on them. Maybe the fish are in real shallow, 2 feet or less water. This bait is really good because it just goes all over the place. So a really erratic action, and you can get big fish to react, and it's a smaller profile. So these fish have seen a lot of chatterbaits by now. Downsizing. Now, if I get around grass, cover, I don't want such erratic action on my chatterbait. So I am going to go with a small swim bait. Every company since the invention of the Alabama rig makes some type of 4-inch, 3.5-inch swim bait. You know, Reaction Innovations Little Dipper. This is a Jean LaRue Sweet Swimmer. I have a bunch of these from the Alabama rig days. I don't know if they still make this, but I like it because it's got a spade tail. But anything with a small tail, slender, short little swim bait, great finesse option. And that is going to be great around docks, any type of wood, stumps, laydowns. A great trailer because it kind of muzzles a little bit of the action, so you can really control where your bait's at, but it still has that great chatterbait action. So we're gonna get this rigged up, and I'm gonna show you how much of a profile this bait still has with the small trailer on there. And you can fish this in grass. You know, you can fish this around lily pads. There's just a lot of really good options for this, and this bait stays on there really good. So if you're skipping it around trees or under docks, it's gonna stay on there. I mean, you can't pull that bait off. And that's still a decent size profile. I mean, you put this next to a crankbait, you know, like a 200 or a 2.0 level crankbait. I mean, that's a similar profile, you know, maybe even a little bit bigger than that. So we're not in the, you know, the 400s or the 4.0, 3.0 size anymore. We're down to that 1.5, 2.0 size. And we can do all the things that we can do with the chatterbait that we did earlier in the year. We're just fishing for fish that have seen a lot of chatterbaits, and we can still catch them. So this is a bait I have tied on year round, but for the next month or so, still a great bait. You just got to kind of downsize it. You can still throw it on the same tackle, 20 pound or 15 pound fluorocarbon, heavy duty bass gear, and throw it in the same places. You're just going to get those fish that have seen it or have become wise to it already this year. They'll bite that smaller version. So try that, guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.